Beat Map Batrep!
Welcome back to Beat Map Batrep episode 13, Tyranids vs. Tyranids. We're entering round 3, and I get the first turn in turn 3, as you saw that I already stole the initiative right in turn 1. So the two guys that managed to get away from the Swarm Lord are going to just turn tail and run, so that they do not give up an easy kill point. And everybody else is just going to try to take down everybody except the Swarm Lord, because the Swarm Lord is too nasty. The Hive Tyrant's going to jump over with his wings and engage the warriors. The gargoyles are going to move in. Yes, that does bring them in range of the zone or of the Doom of Melantai, but we have the Old One-Eye nearby, lending his 8 leadership so that they don't die quite as quickly. And then everybody else is moving up, ready to shoot at the Swarm Lord, because that's what you have to do. So in the shooting phase, the gargoyles and the termagants are nearby, and they actually make their leadership test. And the gargoyles also make their leadership test, so the Doom really is having bad luck today. But on the other hand, I'm going to shoot with the Trigon, and I only managed to wound a couple times, and he saves both those wounds. Then I'm going to shoot with the Turbigon, and only manage to hit a couple times, and don't manage to wound at all. Then I'm going to shoot with the Hive Tyrant. I make my leadership test for the psychic power, but I don't do any damage. Then I get a direct hit with the Venom Cannon, I wound him, and he makes his save again. So I don't feel so sorry for him when the Doom of Melantai fails to really do any damage. Shooting at the Doom of Melantai, do manage to do a lot of wounds, and he does fail 3 of his invulnerable saves, bringing him down to 2 instead of the 5 wounds that he had before. Hive Tyrant is going to charge in. He will be at initiative 1 because the warriors do have lash whips, but hopefully that will not matter. And then all the gargoyles and the termagants charging the Doom of Melantai, desperate to kill it before it can continue, or before it can have a good round of really killing everything. So now he's attacking. He manages to kill a couple of the termagants with the warriors, and then the other one, actually they both choose to attack the termagants. So the termagants hit back, only 1 hits, and they do not manage to wound. The Hive Tyrant, on the other hand, gets 5 attacks, hits all 5 of them, wounds on 2 pluses, ignoring armor, and kills the 2 warriors. So those termagants actually managed to survive. That was mainly because of the paroxysm bringing their weapon skill down to 1 for a turn, which really stopped them from doing anything. Now the Doom of Melantai is going to hit. He actually wounds on 5s because of his low strength, but he rolled 2 5s, so he managed to kill 2 of the gargoyles, bringing him back up to 4 wounds. They're all at the same initiative, so he does get those instantly, so at the same time. The termagants will now attack. They get lots of wounds in, but he makes a lot of his 3+ invulnerable saves. He only loses 2 of his 4 wounds. Now the gargoyles get to hit. They of course auto wound on 6s, and then wound again, and he fails 2 out of 3 of his 3+ invulnerable saves. So that's just interesting to see how that luck goes back and forth. He makes like 7 out of 9 of them, and then fails 2 out of 3 of them in the next turn. So on the next turn, his Gene Stealers do manage to roll 2+ to come on. Remember, they do get the +1 of their reserve rolls because of the Swarm Lord. He decides to bring them on the same side. In retrospect, I'm not going to tell you why right now, but it probably would have been a better idea to bring him on the other side, even though everybody's in the center. Swarm Lord is moving up. He's going to actually multi-assault the Hive Tyrant and the Old One-Eye, which is I'm kind of happy about, because he can't kill both of them in one turn, because he can only choose one of them as a target for his attacks. The Gene Stealers are moving up, trying to get to the combat as quickly as they can. He's using Paroxysm on the Hive Tyrant, who actually has the chance of insta-killing him, and he does manage to get it. Then he does Psychic Scream, and manages to hit everything around him. And they all have to make leadership tests, and so far they've all made it. Turbigon makes his, the Termagants make theirs, and the Gargoyles make theirs, even without the help of Old One-Eye. And now the Lash Whips from the Spore Pod manages to kill a couple of the Gargoyles. Then he does assault in, he multi-assaults, he just fits in there. We measured everything beforehand. Things got moved around because pieces of models get in the way. The Hive Tyrant gets to hit first. He does have initiative 5, and his Lash Whip brings him down to initiative 1. I do hit him twice, and I wound him twice, but he does get a 4+ invulnerable save, and he gets both of them. Then the Hive Tyrant decides to hit my Hive Tyrant, or his Swarm Lord hits my Hive Tyrant, hits him 3 times, wounds him 4 times, but each of those is an instant kill. So only 1 wound was all that was necessary. Old One-Eye hits on 5s, gets 3 hits, and any hits that he gets to do more hits. So he manages to get 4 hits, wounds 4 times, and he makes 3 out of 4 of his 4+ saves. So he only loses 1 wound, I lose by 3, and lose another wound on Old One-Eye, and of course he is dead next turn, as he has a lower initiative. Looking at the end of round 3, we've got a lot going on here. Obviously, it's not decisive yet because my guys are going down. That Swarm Lord single-handedly kill a Hive Tyrant and is going to kill Old One-Eye unless I get really lucky. The Doom went down though. You can see his guys are all cleared out except for a Swarm Lord and his 2 groups of Gene Stealers. So the current score is 5 for me and 2 for Dan. Although a lot of my guys are dead or dying, so we will see what happens in the next turn to see if he is able to come back. That Swarm Lord is going to be tough for me to kill. So let's jump into my turn 4. My main concern, of course, is the Swarm Lord. The Gene Stealers are also a concern. They are heavy hitting for sure, but I do have a lot of shooting, so I could take them out from a distance. So my Hive Tyrant is moving over to take on the Spore Pod, and now I'm going to try to swarm the Swarm Lord. I have the rest of my Gargoyles and the rest of the Termagants here. They're going to do their best to get around it and just force enough of the saves. In his case, he'll get his 3+ saves against them, because Old One Eye is going to die. So at least for 1 round, he will have to focus on something else. And so that's what they're going to have to do. The Termagant's moving over, and the Termagants are kind of shuffling back so they can be out of range of anything else that's trying to charge. So the Trigon's going to open fire and try to kill as many of the Gene Stealers as he can. Unfortunately, he only manages to kill 3 of them. He should have done a bit more than that. And they make their leadership test so they don't run away. The Hive Tyrant charges the Spore Pod, and then the Termagants all charge in, and the Gargoyles all charge into the Swarm Lord. And so the Spore Pod will be an easy kill point, but the Swarm Lord will not. The Spore Pod has Lash Whip, so they're both at initiative 1, so he's just going to let him go first. He only manages to hit once, and he does not do any damage. The Hive Tyrant hits back, of course, getting 5 attacks, re-rolling, hitting on 3s, and then wounding on 2s. It's got 3 or 4 wounds, and it's dead. So there's another kill point for me. I move a little closer to the Swarm Lord with my Consolidation. He opens up fire on he starts to hit the Old One Eye. Actually only manages to wound it once, but that's all he needs, as he does insta-kill anything that he wounds. So now the Termagants are going to hit. They're hitting on 5s and wounding on 6s. So they get 3 wounds, and he fails 1 of them. And then the Gargoyles hit on 5s, but 6s, of course, are automatic wounds. I managed to wound him 3 times, and he makes all 3 of his saves. So I lose by 2, and I lose 2 Gargoyles and 1 Gaunt, and I do not beat him in that turn, which was about the only chance I really had to kill him. Anything else charging him will die. So in his turn, of course, the Broodlord and Gene Stealers are going to come and back up. Remember, they're running at the same time, if you're wondering why they're moving so far. They're going to back up the Swarm Lord there and just help him finish off everything really quickly. The other ones are going to move around and try to just get to the combat. This is what I was saying before. If he had come in the other side with them, then he would kind of squish me together in the middle, whereas right now I'm kind of backing up to the other table edge to stay away from his Swarm Lord. So that is going to be something that you're going to see is going to make a difference in the game. So he's charging in. Of course, he gets to hit first on the Gargoyles. The Broodlord goes first and wounds on 4s, but doesn't manage to wound too many. Only manages to wound a couple, and they fail their saves, so they're gone. Doesn't really matter because we got 5 Gene Stealers hitting with 3 attacks each, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, and then wounding on 4s, re-rolling. 6s, of course, are rending, which negates any armor, and all the Gargoyles are dead. The Swarm Lord gets to go next. He cannot kill all the Termagants. He actually manages to only hit 2 of them and kill 2 of them, but when I go to hit him back, I only hit twice and I don't do any wounds. So I take that many more wounds, and the Termagants are all dead. So it's actually good that the Gene Stealers charged in, otherwise the Swarm Lord would have still been tied up in combat. And the consolidation, of course, of the Gene Stealers moving towards the Trigon. So we are at end of round 4. What looked like it was going to be an easy victory for me is quickly switching to the other side, that his Swarm Lord is doing a lot of damage. He single-handedly killed my Hive Tyrant, and then Old One Eye, and then with the help of Gene Stealers, killed a group of Gargoyles and a group of Termagants. Now he's getting close to my Hive Tyrant. The score right now is 6 for me and 5 for Dan, so you can see he's catching up quite quickly, and we're only 1 point difference right now. And so we're going to enter round 5 to see if Dan is able to come back and do even more damage, or if I'm going to be able to just squeeze out a bit of a victory here and kill enough of his guys that he will not be able to damage me enough. So go ahead, post below who you think is going to win, and I will see you in the next round.
Visit miniwargaming.com to see our videos 1 month early.